Meanwhile, what a dramatic day yesterday. Napoli couldn't get it done against Parma, and Inter thought they'd got it done, but for that late goal from Pedro, Lazio 2, Inter 2 means it's all to play for going into the final day of the season, which will be Friday. Napoli very much with fate in their own hands. Inter will be hoping that Napoli will drop points somehow. Jules, so much drama from this game. Obviously, everybody sent off from the benches, all the controversy around these two ties. But in the end, last day of the season, fate, as I say, is in Napoli's hands.
Absolutely. They'll be at home to start with when Inter have to go to Como, and Napoli will play at home to Cagliari, who are staying up. They just stayed up by winning at the weekend. So on paper, just like this, it looked like Napoli, as we see on the graphic, are in a better position to doing it because they've got the extra points. But this season has also taught us that you can't take anything for granted in this quite incredible Serie A season. And obviously, if they are level on points, we would have the decider, the playoff final, call it whatever you want, the league title final. I'm not even sure there's a name. Spareggio, it is in Italian, on Friday night. So on Friday night, those games are going to be played, and potentially on Monday night, the final, if they're level on points, because this is the new rule since 2023, you will have a league final, really, between the two teams level on point, regardless of the goal difference or the head-to-head. And I think there's a lot of people who would love to see an Inter Milan, Napoli league final on Monday night. But I think it'll probably be sorted on Friday and Napoli will win the title.
Yeah, of course, for that to happen, it would be an Inter draw and a Napoli loss, Jules. I think that's mathematically the only way we can see that. How did Napoli not just get it done yesterday?
I mean, to be fair, they haven't played well in that game. Where a lot of big clubs drop points at Parma. They haven't been playing great this season anyway. We talked a lot on the show about Conte's style and how minimalist a lot of it is and very efficient in both boxes. McTominay's impact and Lukaku's impact. This has been Napoli's year all year long, really. And they hit the woodwork 3 times against Parma. They could have conceded 2. They thought they had a penalty really late, and then VAR came back for a foul by Simeone, which I think was the right call to make, but very frustrating. Then Conte loses his shizzle, he gets sent off. He's not going to be on the bench for the game on Friday night, the last game of the season. Same for Inzaghi in the crazy Inter Milan Lazio game where Inter were twice in the lead and still managed to drop 2 points too. So you just don't know what happened. But you're right. For Napoli to lose at home to Cagliari, who are 14th and already safe, I think that's a very long shot.
Let's take a look at what Antonio Conte had to say. Of course, never short of a word, especially when it comes about his future, given, of course, a season in now to the man in charge in Naples. So this is what he had to say. It is certainly the most difficult season of my career. I gave everything. I went beyond my limits. I also know I'm exhausted. I'm just reaching the end of this season. Napoli is wonderful for the passion and enthusiasm, but it also brings with demands and expectations that are often higher than the realistic capabilities. You just want to say, shut up, don't you, Jules?
He's good, isn't it? I mean, he's moaned all season long. And let's not forget, guys, that they've only played 1 game a week because they had no European competition at all. 1 game a week. He's exhausted after a bit more than 30 games because they were in the Coppa d'Italia and they lost quite quickly, to be fair, to Empoli. So what would he have been if he had a 65-game season, like a lot of the top clubs, like Inter Milan, for example? He would have moaned even more. It was probably difficult because he didn't get the players that he wanted either in the summer or in January. He lost Kvaratskhelia. I get it. It's not an easy context because it's Napoli, because of how much the club means to the city, working with De Laurentiis, all of that. I get it, but that was a bit too far. Come on, please. And now they're just 90 minutes away from winning a second title in 3 years after waiting 30 years to get it back after the Maradona years. He's not far from it. I think they will get it done. And then maybe after that, he will start smiling and stop moaning.
Is he going to go back to Juve, Jules?
I think that's very possible. Very possible. I think Igor Tudor did a good job by taking Juve. Very likely now they just need a point to the Champions League. And after that, I'm not sure Tudor was ever the guy for the longer term for Juve from their point of view, from Giuntoli's point of view and the bosses at Juventus. What was the dream for them is Antonio Conte, has often been Antonio Conte, has always been Antonio Conte. And if Antonio Conte wins the title with Napoli, it'd be even more the desire of Juventus to bring him back home. So, yeah, I think it would probably be likely to happen. And I think that also that communication that we get from Conte and the quotes that you read, Dan, probably angles already towards this was so exhausting. We won the title. I'm so happy, but goodbye. And then he probably then go to Juventus.